Pre-show about ready to start. Pre-show. We are live. Pre-show about ready to start. Pre-show. 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 All right, everybody, what's going down? Charlie Brandon. For those of you new, which is 90% of you watching right now, this is I'm Travis. This is Greg. We are GadgetCast, baby. And this is the pre-show. This is before we get going into the actual podcast. And yes, we will be taking questions from chat. We will be doing all the things. A lot of people in the chat. Greg, what do you think about
that? I'm not too surprised because Jon has his audience and Jon delivers. So Prosser delivers.
We will be taking questions later. Jon should be here any moment. I was just DMing with him. He should be here very soon. Yeah, man, we're going to have a lot of fun. So if you're new to GadgetCast, welcome. We have all types of fun here on every Sunday doing the podcast. We are on all audio formats. Oh, we're almost at 100. Nice. We're on all audio formats. And of course, we have this YouTube channel here. We're also on Twitter right now. All the things. So it's going to be lots of fun. We're going to talk to Jon about like leaks and all the other things. We also invite you to subscribe to the audio podcast and just enjoy the fun we're about to have, because it's about to go shenanigans level 1000.
Yeah, I think it's over 9,000, but that's what I like to say.
Yes,
as a Dragon Ball fan, so
that what that is,
representing that.
It's gonna be good stuff. So the chat's going fairly fast. StreamYard cannot keep up. It is what it is, though. Kern 2020 instead of Jernzo.
Yeah, we're gonna ask Jern all the hard-hitting questions. I'm gonna, this is a trap, guys. He's walking into the lion's den, actually. So get prepared.
Yeah, man. I'm excited because so here's the thing. Yeah, we do. We have the new record, 119 streaming. This almost beats my channel live stream. I want to be clear about something. Jon likes to do these live streams without having his webcam on. I told this dude he needs to throw that webcam on because we are not playing around.
We want his beautiful face just plastered. If he doesn't do it, I already warned him. We got how do we do that thing? I said if he doesn't show up, I got the full impression, ready to go. We'll have his face plastered somehow.
He's coming. He just texted me. He's on his way. He's just having problems with StreamYard because it's a web page. Those damn web pages are so rough.
Yeah,
he's on his way. What we'll do is wait for him to get here, and then we will start the actual podcast. We'll get into it. We'll ask questions. We'll talk about things. We will take questions from the chat. Now, the way this is going to work is we're going to have the podcast part for like the first 20 or 30 minutes, and then we're going to go into just questions from the chat. We don't normally do that aspect of it because, quite frankly, like it would be crazy. But we will allow some general questions from the chat, and we know that you are really excited. Now, Jernzo has joined us.
Hey, is it working?
Yes, it's working.
What's up? Here I am. I've arrived.
Pre-show right now. We're just doing the pre-show.
Okay, cool.
We have now surpassed my own channel live stream record of like 150 people. We're at 171 people right now.
Why?
I don't know. I
didn't know that many people were watching.
I have 55,000 subscribers. I've never gotten this many concurrent viewers.
And it happened on the GadgetCast channel.
Happened on and I'm all right with that. I love GadgetCast.
How's my audio, guys? Good?
Sounds good. Okay. All right, so we're about ready to start this podcast. Like I said to everyone in chat, once more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our audio podcast. This will be there as well. So even if you miss it here, you can watch it on YouTube or whatever. But we're going to start the podcast. We're going to get into it. We're going to have a lot of fun. And then for the second half of the show, it's about the questions you ask. Don't ask stupid questions. Well, I mean, listen, ask stupid questions. You're just not going to ask them to Jernzo. Jernzo only gets the best questions. And how did that work? We're going to do stuff like this. When will the 9+ be ready? That side of thing. And then Jernzo will answer them as best as he can.
I shall answer.
All right.
Nothing off limits. So ask whatever you want. And
all right.
Oh, by the way, before we we'll do this on the podcast. So we're going to celebrate the 200,000 subscriber special. But we'll do it on the podcast where all the other people who listen can listen. So let's do this. Are we ready to do this?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Ready? Over there. What's your name again, Greg?
Oh man.
Do I need to do anything?
You don't need to do a damn thing.
Nah, we got it all. We got double recording slash
Double
cool.
recording, audio.
quadruple recording, basically, right? So
We're both recording just in case.
yeah,
I brought a camera.
I saw.
we can see. Yeah,
I'm excited.
Oh,
Dude,
nice.
I would never be able to live it down if I didn't bring the camera.
Well, I
So-
mentioned this literally just a couple seconds ago. I'm like, look, Jernzo got to bring the camera. We in trouble. This is a video podcast on YouTube, and maybe
I
audio.
said I should have brought my green screen over here so then I could have the same background as you guys.
Now, here's what happened. Let me do this real quick. This is the GadgetCast boobs. You see the GadgetCast boobs?
This looks better. I like this.
You like this better? Is this
like
you
this.
like this? Is that what we like? All right.
Am I in a focus? Is that what's going on here?
It could be. It might be. It might also could be at 720p. That might have something to do with it.
No, here we go. See,
Oh,
is that better?
yes.
You like that?
It's just like one of your video leaks.
Dude.
It's amazing.
Dude, what if I was like, I brought the camera for Travis, but this is what you saw the whole time.
you could only get the 720p Logitech for like $300 on Amazon.
I know, right? It's a great deal right now. Look at that. You almost got it. And there it is. Look at there it is in all sharpness and glory. Chat is going wild. 203 people. So let's do
203 people. What the hell?
That's a powerful tweet, John. Why haven't I had you tweeting my stuff more often? I think you need
I'm
to
start charging for this shit.
I know. Jeez Louise.
By the way, swearing allowed or no?
100%.
Okay.
If we get more viewers than subscribers, I will nothing. So let's do this. Ready, Greg? Because we're going to get more viewers than subscribers. So I there's nothing for me to do. All right. Hit the like button, please.
Ready when you are.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, record.
Hello, world, and welcome to another exciting episode of the GadgetCast. I am your host, I'm Gregory McFadden. I'm joined by the man himself, the player, Travis MCP.
Y'all should know, players. We doing it big. Here's the thing. So everyone who listens to this audio podcast, which we love you, we definitely love you. But right now, there is some special things happening on the YouTube live stream. I've told you for weeks that we appreciate you listening to audio, although none of you go into work anymore. So you're not listening to the audio podcast, obviously. We've definitely seen that. And a lot more people come to the live stream. Right now, there are over 230 people watching this live stream and in the chat and asking questions. And you're going to wish you were here. You're going to listen to this podcast. You're going to learn a lot of the same things. And you're going to miss out on all the shenanigans that's going on in the live stream. But I'm excited. You know why, Greg?
Why are you excited? Because it's Easter, right? Best day, got the
That's it. Because Cadbury eggs are back, baby.
Travis was up in his pajamas bright and early. He was hunting those eggs.
Cadbury eggs are 2 for 1 tomorrow. That's what I'm excited about. But no, it's my man Jernzo. He's here, ladies and gentlemen. We have got the man. Now listen, again, people who have been watching or listening, Jernzo's always watching anyway. He's popping us these kind of things. But we just said, you know what? Let's just get official. Bring him on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Jon Prosser from George Quick.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I watch every week, so it's weird being on the show. I like to lurk.
Yeah, it's true. I
lurk and I watch the show, and I'll usually I think every week for like the last month, I've dropped a leak in here first before I tweeted it the next day or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been really fortunate. I've known Jon for over a year now. I'll just real quick go through my background with Jon. And we'll do a light, not a deep dive, but like a mini dive of like Jernzo, where he's been, how he's gotten to where he is right now, which is put out one tweet and just blow up our chat. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Whoops.
I met Jon a while back. I was hanging with my boys like Jeff and Heavy Reviews, a couple other people, and they were all Jernzo fans, man. I keep calling him Jernzo because that's just, I have no choice.
That's why I put my name in the chat as Jernzo.
Exactly. That's exactly why I keep saying it. But I met Jon through when I was kind of coming up on the YouTube game thing, and he kind of hit me to the game about how to do YouTube videos in a way that's more kind of engaging to the fans and stuff. And we kind of got into it. I disagreed at first, but I'm like, listen, I'll listen. This guy knows what he's talking about. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it.
Remember, when I first saw you, you had 3,000 subscribers.
Yes.
That's when we first started talking. The first time I saw you was like a live stream. You were live streaming, I think, on your own channel, and you did not like me very much.
I wasn't sure about you. I'm like, I don't know about this dude. Well, let's see. Has that ever happened before to you, Jon? Where people
No, that's not. No, I've never heard of that before.
But what ended up happening is a very real friendship. Jon has been incredible to me, and I just legitimately consider him a friend, and I'm just happy that he's on the podcast. Super happy. It was always going to happen. It was just a matter of when, and now is the right time because everything's happening. Jon, you just hit 200,000 subscribers, man. Today, just a couple hours ago.
Yeah, we did.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. I expected to hit it like next week, but the last episode pulled in like 3,000 new subscribers. So I was like, oh, so I guess it happens now. That's fine. Yeah.
So you know Greg. How do you know Greg?
The pandemic's pretty bad, but also,
also not bad.
Everyone's watching YouTube, so
that's a true story. So you now, Greg, how did you come to know of Jon?
Hey. Well, I've known of Jon for an extremely long amount of time. Like,
that's unfortunate.
I remember like probably like, I don't know. I don't even want to say how long ago, but a long time ago, of seeing Jon on, who was at the time like the most popular like tech YouTuber out there, Chris Perillo. I saw Jon like so long ago. Oh my God,
yeah, I was good friends with Chris. Yeah,
the first time I saw him anything like before that, and then I learned of Front Page Tech from that. I remember watching his show when he had like maybe 10,000 subscribers, maybe like 500 to 1,000 viewers.
You me that long, and you're just now talking to me? Like, what the hell?
So I've known of Jon for quite a while, but we actually didn't really start to get to know each other until like this year, maybe like a little last year. But yeah, I've been a fan for a very long time. And,
we just exchanged phone numbers like this week, so we're officially friends.
You didn't have to blow me up like that. But no, yeah, it is true. But it's crazy to see what he's done with his platform as someone who like never gave up, just kept doing it year after year. You look at him now, where his show, it was this daily tech show, right, where he would report the news. You know, he would put his spin on the news that people were reporting, and now he's breaking the news. He is the news. So that's kind of crazy to see.
Oh, I appreciate it, guys. You guys are too kind.
200,000 flushes, baby, for the toilet squad. I shared this on my community tab, and someone says, I'm already sitting on the toilet. I'm ready. Okay. Talk a little bit about the toilet squad, where that came from, because some people might be like, what is the toilet? What is it? You're wearing a toilet squad, or what are you wearing there?
So it's a toilet squad hoodie.
Yeah, toilet squad hoodie. So talk about that.
So I made a joke on the show, just like an offhand joke about people watching on the toilet, because I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people watch on the toilet, and it turns out way more people than I thought watch on the toilet. And so it became this meme in the comment section and all that other stuff, and then we just rolled with it. Like the audience forced it on me. We made shirts, and it's been a thing ever since. Like, you know, people have the notification squad or whatever, but it's cool. Everyone watches on the toilet, and we're proud of that. That's where it comes from.
Now, I know you. I don't know. Can you talk about this secret kind of merch you were going to come out with? You had told me on a DL about some actual toilet paper.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about this. What was the deal?
We have a contact in Charmin, the actual toilet paper company. And we were working on printing actual like Front Page Tech Toilet Squad rolls of toilet paper that you could buy. Now you can't buy any toilet paper. So
yeah. Can you imagine how much they'd be worth right now?
No. If no one could get toilet paper right now, and I just gave out toilet paper for free, that'd be awesome.
Dude, that might actually go viral.
Yeah. Just has my face on it. That's the only catch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Hey, man, I'm desperate. I need it. So send it over.
I love how it looks like Greg is recording from a calculator.
This is what happens to his live stream. I don't know why. Like, he needs to get a hardwired connection or something. He's down here. We're trying to take this serious.
I do need to do that.
Trying to take this. It's getting better. Oh, nope. It's getting worse.
200,000 toilet papers. We definitely appreciate Jon for coming to the same day he hits 200,000. We're super excited to have him. So let's start talking about some things. Let's mix it up. That's what everyone is here for. I know that Greg's got a lot of questions since his channel is, mostly Apple. I'm just going to ask some kind of overall questions, and then Greg's
Okay.
going to dig into it, and then we're going to open it up to the chat.
I'll preface by saying nothing's off limits. I'll be as transparent as I can, and I'll answer anything really.
So let's talk a little bit about the leaks. So when did these people who now give you a lot of this information start to reach out to you? How did you verify who they were? Like, how did that whole situation come to be?
Well, it started with the Samsung leaks. So I've started I leaked Google stuff here and there. Pixel 3a, I leaked out like 6 months before it actually happened. So I have like a very limited experience with other leaks. But it was really the Samsung leaks that started it. Like when I leaked the prices, and then I leaked images of the Galaxy S20 Ultra and stuff like that. I really liked that feeling. Like I liked sort of giving the news before tomorrow. I like giving you tomorrow's news, but now. And so I've for years and years and years, I've always been used to the news comes out and then I report on it. I give you today's news. And throughout different parts of my career, we've always adapted and changed the show. And I feel like this is just another transition for my career. Like we've changed so many things about the show, and I feel like this is just another one of those changes. Like I really loved the way it felt with the Samsung stuff. So I opened it up. I opened my DMs up, and I made myself more accessible, and was like, hey, like if you work at any of these companies, my DMs are open. I started a Signal. It's a really secure chat client that people use, and Telegram, another secure chat client. And I just made sure that the sources were aware that if they reached out, they'd be protected. And I think what happened was, with a lot of other leakers, you have internal sources from these companies that are used to giving the information out. So then they pick who to give the information to. Whereas I made myself more accessible and opened myself up, and just general fans of Front Page Tech that also happen to work at these companies started reaching out and giving me information. These people just happened to be at all levels of the companies, and it just happened to be more Apple employees reached out because, let's be honest, that's the company that everyone wants information from. They're the most secretive. And so a bunch of people reached out that are just fans of the show. And I think that's the difference. And it puts a lot of different pressure on me, because it's not like other leakers from these companies that are used to giving out information. They know all sorts of ways to protect themselves. Whereas a lot of my sources are just regular everyday employees that also have the information. And so that's now on me to make sure they're protected. And it's hard sometimes, and it's really stressful, but I think it really boils down to, they're just like us, they're fans of the show. And so just like everyone else in the community, they're really excited and passionate about new information. They want to see the leaks, and they're just as interested. They think it's just as fun as us. And if they can be the ones to give me the information, even better. Like a lot of them, when the articles are written, they'll reach out to me and be like, holy shit, I'm in the article. Like I did this. Even though it's my name in the article, they know that they did it. And I think it's just a cool feeling for everybody. They're just a fan like everybody else.
So have there been instances where you got something so juicy that you actually couldn't release it? Like there might be reasons you're like, I just can't release it.
Yeah, I don't leak everything that I know. A couple reasons. Number one, either it's not verified enough, or there's a lot of stuff that is too far ahead, like stuff for next year or the year after. And I'm more of an instant gratification sort of person. I want to be able to give you information, and then it happens like next week. That's the stuff I like. And then there's other information that I have that if I did say something or release it, it would very obviously give out my source. And right now, in particular, Apple is not happy with me. I got a cease and desist today.
Ooh.
I put out a presentation tweet, a tweet of a presentation. From what I understand, it was from ASW, which is like it's for internal salespeople at Apple. Mm-hmm. And it has presentations for every product, similar to what would be shown at events. And so I tweeted it. And number one, I feel like I shouldn't have run with that, because it came from a fairly new source.
Mm-hmm.
Where usually like people criticize me a lot when I put out a tweet and it has like the 5 rolls of toilet paper. They make fun of me about how I only tweet, 5 rolls of toilet paper, meaning like the leak is 100% accurate on my end. Or at least that source has been 100% accurate with me. Not saying the information is guaranteed. It's just giving you an idea of that same source, their track record from, their past with me. And people criticize me for that, but I do it for a reason. And it's because I'm afraid of taking a risk on stuff that I'm not 100% sure in. Like if the source is like a 3 toilet paper roll source, I'm worried about giving that information out, especially right now, because at the beginning of this, I feel like there's a lot of people questioning me, a lot of doubters. And if I get stuff wrong here and there, right now, I feel like it impacts me more than after I get a few more things right. Then I can, I feel like there's more of a safety net for me to get a couple things wrong. So that's what happened today. I tweeted out a presentation that was for internal use only. And the difference is, like with other leaks, like if I leak a product or something like that, it's coming from a source. So the source gave it to me and I published it. Whereas in this case, the source gave me actual keynote presentation files that I personally had in my possession. And I tweeted it, which the equivalent, according to Apple, was like distributing a pirated movie. And so they sent me a cease and desist and had me take the tweet down and asked me for like an apology. So I part of it was, Apple asking for it. And then the other part was I feel like I just jumped on that information too quickly. So I wanted to apologize to the people on Twitter. But yeah, there's an active investigation happening with me right now. And the issue is, I'm in the US where there's freedom of the press. Mm-hmm. A lot of other leakers don't have that luxury. They're from, Europe or something like that. Currently what I know is that they're sort of framing this as they're trying to set up a case against me not being an actual journalist because that's when freedom of the press isn't a thing if I'm not considered a journalist. So there's an investigation right now happening to me. I'm confident nothing really can happen to me. I'm just more worried about my sources. No one's gotten close yet. Mm-hmm. And a part of that is because I don't run with information typically off of just one source. I right. work with a bunch of people and it's really hard to find all those people at once.
That's interesting. So when you first of all, the fact that you got a cease and desist on a Sunday on Easter,
they don't care.
Wow.
That tweet was up for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it ruined my day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed the tweet. I was away this morning, so I actually missed it. So it was a presentation.
I could text you
what it used to look like.
An example of. I could recreate it
as long as it's not public.
Yeah.
So their gripe. I mean, obviously they have gripes with you in general now because you are now talking about things that are obviously very true. They're being demonstrably true. They are so demonstrably true that places that have existed before Front Page Tech was a real authority in this are getting things wrong that you're getting right. Yeah. So it's almost maybe scarier for Apple than your normal 9-to-5 Mac who might get something.
I think I lend that to the sources being just fans of Front Page Tech that also happen to work at these companies. I don't want to say their location, but I have some all over. I have from the supply chain that helps me. I have some from inside the US, particular part of the US that it would lend itself to being a very high up source at Apple. Mm-hmm. So when I tweet stuff about internal meetings and stuff, I think that's the stuff they're most upset about is because, and maybe not even me, maybe they're not upset with me. Maybe they're upset that there's very obviously somebody or some people high up in the company that are breaking NDAs. And I think that's the scary part for them, that they want to stop that. Not necessarily Jon Prosser. I'm just the guy publishing the information, but there's obviously some people that have some very significant information. And I think that's why my leaks are a little bit different. Like, it's not like, I mean, I've tweeted some product stuff, but it's typically not like supply chain related. Like, oh, there's a product coming next year with this specs or anything like that. I'm tweeting like very relevant, topical, happening right now information from like, headquarters, corporate offices, stuff like that.
Greg, what do you think when you see this stuff? Because I know you're able to make videos on it, which is nice for you.
Yeah, I get, when Prosser puts out something, it's like, ooh, it's time to make a video and talk about this. He's a very reliable source. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, I've been banned from saying I believe in Prosser.
I'm sending you a video, Travis. Just a video. Normal video. Okay, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, again, cut off. But no, yeah, it's the stuff you're dealing with now, hearing that's actually pretty scary. So I hope everything's okay there. Did you want to talk more about specific leaks? Like I know, like the big one everyone's waiting for this week, and there's been kind of this public drama going on with this iPhone 9, iPhone SE2 stuff, where you kind of gave some very accurate dates of, I believe, April 15th, April 14th.
Right. And
we've had some other publications, saying, oh, it's coming very soon, immediately. And
last Friday, or no, two Fridays ago.
Exactly. So do you want to speak more to that whole scenario that's going on? Like why do you think people are giving you such a hard time when you are giving exact dates? You're in the same, you're in the same business as them, right? Everyone's trying to pass this information along to their readers or listeners.
I just don't think I'm looked at as credible as the other people have been doing this for years, mainstream publications. And I feel like the mainstream websites like that are just looked at as more credible. Like those are journalists and YouTubers are not. I think the problem is that I'm a YouTuber that, I'm a YouTuber, number one, but number two, I think my personality also lends itself to people just not liking me. And like Joe from Mac Rumors tweeted, he picked apart my show the other day, and like my jokes, I went from being a racist, and then he deleted that tweet, and then he tweeted about how like he didn't include me in the report because I have framed it as like the media versus me. I didn't do that. That was not me. I just played it up. I played into that for entertainment. And I think that's a major disconnect. Like people just don't understand. Like Joe liked a tweet. There was a whole conversation today about how I should drop the comedy and build something significant if I want to be taken seriously. Joe liked the tweet. Yeah. And I think that's the disconnect. Like they don't get it. My first priority before the leaks started, before anything else, has always been to spend 10 minutes of the day with the viewers and make them laugh. If they're stressed out about something, they can forget for 10 minutes, watch my show, and that's it. That's what I'm most proud of. Before the leaks and the information, the comedy will always be first. That's one thing I've never changed about the show throughout the years. And I think that's the issue. I think people don't like me, especially people that have been working in this industry doing Apple stuff. I'm like the new guy, and I have different sources than them. So since I'm coming at it from a different angle, they just don't like it. And I think that like right now, there's been whole Reddit threads of people trying to discredit me and saying I'm buying Twitter followers and YouTube subscribers and all this other stuff. And when people defend me on Reddit, especially, they'll put a list of stuff because people are like, Jon Prosser's a hack. What has he gotten right? So people will make a list of stuff I've gotten right. March event being canceled, iPhone 9 being delayed. I leaked the actual employee memo from Tim Cook. Like, didn't say it happened. I leaked the whole thing. Multiple things like that. And the response every time is, those are easy to guess. Like, those are common sense things to guess. Listen, you all should be more impressed if I'm guessing this stuff. Like, because I haven't gotten anything wrong yet. So if I'm actually guessing it, I would think that'd be more impressive at this point. But I don't know. People just, because of my personality, maybe they're rooting for me to fail, or they just don't want to believe me. So I'm trying to get better at how I respond to that stuff because I can't prove myself to everybody individually. It's got to happen. Like, it'll take time. And so I'm trying to be patient with everybody, even though they are calling me names online.
Yeah, it's a losing battle to, even if you get everything 100% right, there's always going to be someone who thinks you're doing it wrong, or someone.
There's always an excuse. There's
always an excuse. Absolutely.
John got this right. Oh, that can be explained because easy guess, or it's always stuff like that. Okay, then you guys do it. Like, I don't understand.
And it's funny you say that. People say these things are easy to get. I don't know how easy it is to get a memo from Tim Cook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've told you and stuff like that in private that you're beating scoops from people who have been in this game for a while, like Mark Gurman. I found out about that story of Apple training their retail employees from you, and then I saw a tweet from Gurman like 2 hours later, basically.
I also gave more information. Like I included the iMac thing.
Yep, 100%.
The funny thing is, and a lot of people in the chat may not know this, but the three of us were involved in one of the biggest tech news stories of the entire year, which was the whole unbox therapy thing.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about
There's 369 people watching this.
Trying to tell
what
you,
in the hell?
I'm telling you,
guys,
man,
it's Easter. What are you doing?
We hear, baby. So literally, for people who don't know, that whole unbox therapy thing happened at the end of a GadgetCast episode when Greg was like, hey, because we had kind of talked about what was going on, and then Greg told me, and then me and him talked for about an hour, and we figured some stuff out, and then I did a bunch of research, and then I shot a video, and I texted Jern, and then everything happened. So it's not like this is Jern's first time of breaking like big things and being a part of a huge movement. Let's be clear about something. The biggest tech YouTuber on YouTube started answering Twitter, which, by the way, he's gone back to not doing anymore. There is a movement of Jern, and it's not just in the toilet. Let's be clear. Jernzo has been making moves and being an influential part of the tech community for as long as I've known him, and maybe just before that. The funny thing is there's a lot of channels with substantially more subscribers than Jern that are relatively unknown. But Jern's influence has been proven time and time again. That he's always told me this. I will put this out there, and this is not a secret. Jern has always said his number one thing is to be able to be reliable and trustworthy. That above everything. He's always told me that, and I believe that, and that's why so many people are here on this chat based off a tweet, because they know not only are they going to get the truth, it's crazy how much influence you wield now. It's crazier what's going to happen in like a year. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and I really appreciate all the people that stick around and support me, even when it feels like there's a ton of people against me right now.
Yeah.
And I think people just lose sight of that. I think they lose sight that I'm a human too. I play a character on the show, but I'm a human and I got feelings, and so. And people hurt him a lot, and I can't say anything. I have tried, every day, every hour of every day, there's an article written about me. And that's
weird, by the way. It's
weird, but it's also like, it's articles that people in my life have to read about me. And a lot of the publications are kind and fair to me, but a lot aren't. And that's the toughest part for me, because like I have no way of, what am I going to do? Respond to each one individually on Twitter or something? I can't do that. So I've tried to get better at just not reading it. Before, I had Google alerts and stuff set up for my name. So if an article was written about me, I could read it, and it would happen. Like if it was like a Reddit post or an article, there'd be like three a day, maybe. It's crazy now. And it's not that I'm not grateful. It's just, it became real bad for my mental health looking at it and watching it all day. So I try not to look at the articles, and I try to respond to everybody at once instead of like trying to take so much time out of my day to defend myself. I try to do less of that, even though I feel like a god. I read something and it gets to me, and I'll sit there, and I usually give myself an hour. If I read something, I'm like, okay, I want to respond, but I'm not gonna right now, because your emotions get the best of you. And I say, if in an hour I still feel as strongly about this and I want to respond individually, then I will. But I always try to wait an hour to just like see how I feel afterwards, and usually I'm cool after that. And I just have realized that my show is my platform. If I have something to say, I'll say it on the show in front of everybody, and not try to spend so much time individually. It's hard, but and I'm grateful that there's so much attention on me right now. I'm trying to be more understanding that there's a lot of doubters. And I guess instead of trying to like defend myself or explain myself one-on-one, just let time do it. I mean, they'll figure it out eventually. I can only guess so many things. So.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting, because every level of your kind of rise. First of all, a lot of people are probably thinking, wow, man, Jordan's really kind of blown up really quick, you know, but you've actually been at this for a damn long time.
Yeah.
Just in front page.
I wouldn't say quick. John, you know, he's been at it for a long time doing this, and it's finally great that he's getting the recognition he's deserved for a while now, I think.
Well, I've done this for almost 8 years. Front Page Tech is almost 8 years old. I actually you mentioned Chris Perillo. I actually started it because of Chris. So I had I've had many YouTube channels over the years. I've been on YouTube since 2006, since it started. In fact, I was making videos for Google Video before YouTube was a thing. I don't know if anyone remembers Google Video before Google bought YouTube. And I started Front Page Tech because Chris Perillo used to have a tech news show called TLDR. And I watched it every day, and it was boring every day. I love Chris Perillo, but that I saw like a hole where I could make a tech news show that wasn't boring. And that's how it started.
Yeah. And it's interesting how you're getting this pushback from traditional, or well, they're not, you know, it's funny to look back at history and you realize when blogging started happening, there was a lot of pushback from, you know, traditional media, newspapers and magazines. And now it's kind of going full circle where we're seeing a lot of, for lack of a better term, you know, YouTubers or other people making digital content through video. And now they're, you know, the bloggers and stuff like that are pushing back against them. It's like they have like a very short memory of, you know, kind of not being taken seriously. Now all you see is either, you know, blog or YouTube and almost, you know, traditional media is almost dead from this point of like influence. It's very interesting to see that. Another thing too, on top of that, it's also strange how they don't see the appeal and relevancy of taking it from a more entertainment standpoint, but also delivering solid information. It's not like you're getting up there and lying every day, which would be extremely easy.
That would ruin my career too.
Right.
Like people are always saying that, like how I'm just lying for clicks. How long do you think someone can lie for clicks? I've been doing this for 8 years. Do you think I'm going to ruin
exactly
8 years of work and my reputation and the trust that the audience has in me for what, a couple thousand views on YouTube? Like what?
Yeah, and it's you could compare it to, I'm just trying to think in like a traditional media sense where I could see something similar, and I think of something like, you know, the Daily Show or the Colbert Report, where they were kind of delivering information but doing it in an entertaining way, and there was a good thing going about that, and I don't remember ever seeing as much pushback against a show like that. It's interesting to see it as something as even less consequential, right? Tech, it's, you know, it plays a huge part in our lives. It's fun. We're all passionate about it. But in terms of like the national stage of what's going on and everything like that, maybe to a lesser degree when we're talking about smartphone leaks, it's really weird to see so much pushback. And again, I think your information has been almost 100% reliable.
100% guesses.
Well, like you said before, like, and I told you this in private too. If you're guessing all this, it's more impressive. Like,
wow, that's what I'm saying. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not trying to, as smug and as arrogant as I am as the character on Front Page Tech, and I like to joke and pick on people, I haven't been wrong, or I haven't been right 100% of the time. There's a lot of stuff in the past that I've gotten wrong. It just so happens that the Apple stuff, like currently, since I got my new Apple sources and since I've leaned more into the Apple leaks, those have been 100% accurate.
Yes.
But I'm not, when I say that I haven't been wrong yet with Apple stuff, I'm not denying that I've been wrong before with other stuff. Like a good example is the Target leaks. I think that, well, the information in the Target leaks is questionable, but the actual leak itself, like that was a real leak from a Target employee. I just don't think it is as reliable as I originally thought, because now it's not a Target source. It's, you know, sources within the actual company. And I trust those sources more than the Target stuff. I think the Target stuff was prepped for the March event. I just think there were placeholders there and the prices weren't accurate, because now that I know actual prices for stuff, it doesn't look as accurate. So there has been stuff that I've gotten wrong before, and I'm cool with admitting that. I wish people would see that, like, it would be impossible for me to guess all this stuff. Like if you want to so many people spending so much of their time explaining away how I leak stuff or trying to give a reason as to how I could have guessed this. Like the store's closing. They're like, well, there's a pandemic right now, so that was just a good guess. Dude, 12 hours before Tim Cook announced it, I guessed it, that the stores were closing. Are you serious? When I guessed all the words in the employee memo, like, I'm not asking for everyone to like worship me. I'm just asking for a little bit of credit sometimes, because a lot of work goes into this. And I think that's the most upsetting part for me, is not necessarily that I'm putting in the work, because I am, but there's a lot of stress that I deal with every day getting this information for you guys. When so many people they'll read the information and then you're done with it. You get to like move on. You either accept it or make fun of me and say that I'm lying. But before you got the information, me and my sources worked for hours. And I have so many tweets in my drafts where I never used my drafts before, but now I use them all the time because I'm scared before I tweet. Because the second I tweet, it either the media will post it, it's posted on Reddit. The Reddit stuff is crazy. Like there's a whole like group of people trying to get my tweets banned on Reddit, because as soon as I tweet, they post it there, and then it's a madhouse over there. They hate me so much over on Reddit. I'm not posting my tweets. I'm not asking anybody to run with my information as soon as I tweet it. But it's because of that a lot of work goes in before I publish the information with my sources, and I got to make sure everyone's protected. And then I put the information out there, and people they just don't believe me at all. And it would just be too hard to guess. And it's upsetting because I know how much work goes into it, not even from my standpoint, because people want me to be humble. I'm not necessarily just talking about me. I'm talking about the people that risked, their jobs to get you this information, that think it's just as cool. They like leaks just as much as you do.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to take into consideration that people don't see. That is actually, I feel like we could literally have an entire podcast on the back, kind of the underpinnings of what leaks are. I mean, it's such an interesting subject. But I do want to get to some of the things we promised. Here's all the 300 and some odd people that are in chat right now, that we would allow you to answer some of the questions. But before we get to that part,
just want to 400 people.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're like 15 people away from 400.
That's another thing. Like, I haven't gotten sleep. I haven't been sleeping. Like, this is awful. I have thought about taking a break after this iPhone SE stuff, because there's nobody has ever leaked a date before the month started of a surprise press release. Ever. That's never happened. So if you think I guessed that date, okay, whatever. Again, you should be more impressed if I guessed it. But once I get that, once it comes out on that day, I might take a step back and take a breather, because Apple's on my ass. Everyone is on my ass, and I'm not sleeping. It's been awful. Like, it's a lot of fun. I love the growth that we're experiencing, but it's way more stress than people realize. And like every day, because 9 to 5 Max said it's coming out 2 Fridays ago, and everyone's been reporting of an imminent launch, I have been up all night and throughout the day refreshing an Apple website, because when so many media outlets like that are giving different information, I start to doubt myself. And as confident as I am in my sources, I tend to trust, the mainstream outlets too. I trusted them my whole career. I've been reporting on stuff that they talk about my whole career. And, I like to joke around when they get it wrong, but I have been up every day refreshing the Apple website with my butthole clenched, wondering, like, is the iPhone going to come out today? And I'm wrong, because if I get this right, there's no denying my sources at that point.
Right.
And after that point, I think I'm going to take like a week or so off, because I need sleep. And it has been so stressful. My God.
I feel that, because I know just in the, the unbox therapy thing we did, you did an all-nighter.
Yeah.
So I know just on that, something that's
it's that every day.
But that's what I'm saying. It's every day. So that doesn't surprise me, which is kind of crazy. I know that. And I know that sometimes you take breaks and stuff. And there's this, let me ask you, before we get into the questions from the chat, I do want to know this. And we'll definitely have to have you back, because there's so much we could talk about. But there is this point, as all creators eventually figure out, with like, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Then there becomes, how long is too long? And then when you're gone for a long time, is it too, like, will they even remember me? Like, do you ever have any of those thoughts? Like, how long is too long? And then if I leave too long, am I then irrelevant? Does that ever enter your mind at all?
Yeah, but like specifically, I mean, we've had that before where I've had my own mental health issues that I've dealt with, especially this last year. And we've taken pretty long, significant breaks because of that. Like I took a month off at one point. Like didn't plan it. I couldn't get on camera. I couldn't upload. It was just like, I'm human like everybody else. And I don't think I've ever said that publicly, but you know, there was a time where I think we planned to take a Monday off and it ended up being 4 Mondays, like a full month of stuff just because I couldn't get on the camera. And we suffered from that, you know, after, God, my monitor keeps turning off. After every break like that, the channel suffers and we had to like, you know, we're building momentum and then I take a break and it hurts, you know, it's not just me. There's other people that work on this and it hurts everything when that happens. So when I say like I want to take a break from leaks, that's all I mean. Like the show it'll just be fun and I'll focus more on the fun stuff and less on leaking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you
for a minute. Yeah,
that's the part that's really taking it from you is the leaking part, the pressure, and does that give you more respect for like the established leakers that are out there?
Yeah. The people that have been doing it for a while, like knowing that they at least, you know, to some degree have experienced this stress too, like, and it makes me wonder, like, I wonder how many people doubted a Mark Gurman when he started, or, you know, who else is like an established leaker long term?
There's like Max Weinbach. There's
yeah. Like there are very few people that use their real name, and that's the thing.
That's true.
If you know my actual name's attached to this, my reputation is attached to this. It's not some ghost Twitter account that if it's wrong, I can just never post again. I can just stop posting. Like this stuff will follow me. So that's why like I'm just trying to give as much accurate information as I can. And that's it. That's all I can do. But there's a lot of stress involved. And you know, a lot of the sources, they work from all over the world. They're not in the same time zone. So, you know, if I'm talking to supply chain people, they're in China. And then, you know, I'm talking to them at 4 o'clock in the morning. So
yeah. Well, listen, I would love to talk more in depth about that stuff, especially like mental health stuff. Like I'm totally into that. I would absolutely adore another conversation about that. But in the interest of keeping people interested, as we just hit over 400 people watching.
Jesus Christ.
Like
Let me get to pivot to that, to these, you know, viewers' questions.
Yeah, I want to start pulling some. So if you're in the chat, please don't kill us with questions. I'm going to try to pull up as many as possible. I've seen a couple come up.
This might help. When you ask all the questions you want, but just try to remember that I don't actually work at Apple. So just because you ask the question doesn't mean I have the answers. Like I can't tell you the prices of everything, and I'm just a messenger. I can only tell you what my sources have told me. And so I will answer all your questions if I can, but I will also tell you if I don't have the information because, you know, I don't work at Apple and just want to make that clear. Just because you ask it doesn't mean I have all the answers. I'll be honest about that.
Well, let's start off with one from Renee Ritchie on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My kitchen roof, damn winds, tore a hole in it. I have a pot under it, but now drip, drip, drip is driving me nuts. Do I have to replace the shingles or do I just slap a patch onto the apocalypse?
Patch it.
All right, everyone else in the chat, here we go. This could end up being shenanigans, but we're going to give this a go, right? Why not? Okay.
Do it.
Let's start finding some questions. All right, here's one. Can you tell me any more about the incoming update of the MacBook Pro? How likely is it'll be a 14-inch version?
Pretty likely. That the 13-inch, so it's technically referred to as a 13-inch refresh. But it'll likely be the 14-inch version. So it's a refresh to the 13, meaning that it won't be 13 inches anymore and it'll be the 14-inch. They're just like, you know, they're just going to extend the display, but the footprint of the MacBook will pretty much be the same.
Anything about the iPhone SE/9 camera specs?
From what I know, it's the camera on the 10R.
Oh, so basically the same. Okay, and that's
it could be wrong about that, but that's what I've heard. That's like, you know, that's been thrown around.
iPad Pro, is it ever going to get bigger than 12.9? It's an interesting question.
I'm sure it will.
In other words,
especially as they start to like push more towards replacing MacBooks. Yeah.
Well, that's what Greg and I have been talking about on this podcast. Greg, what do you think about this? We've talked about this a bunch of times.
About a bigger iPad Pro?
In other words, removing the entry level Mac laptops and then replacing it with like a more fully fledged iPad Pro of some sort.
I mean, I think it's definitely a possibility, especially if they're planning a transition to their own chips inside of the MacBooks. At that point, as they build up their software and they get more pro software on the iPad, the biggest hurdle right now is getting their development of because people make iPad and iPhone apps on their Mac. So once they roll that over to the iPad, you can replace the whole thing. And now we see, the latest iPad Pros have that new Magic Keyboard accessory. That's getting really close to an actual computer. So it might not be that long off from them actually doing stuff like that. But the Mac's pretty popular right now, so I'm sure it'll phase out.
That's the future. Like as much as people want to deny it, that's our future. That's what we're looking at. I think that people get scared of that stuff because it seems foreign to them and it's not what you're used to.
Yeah.
But it's the future. And if we're thinking long term, bigger picture, the future is wearables, not even this stuff. Like this stuff is so short sighted.
Yeah.
Like everyone talks about like the stuff right now. Like we're so focused on these glass pucks being foldable and like that's the future. No, it's not. These glass pucks that's not the future at all. Like people, I feel people are so short sighted and they don't actually see the potential of technology. They're just used to whatever's in front of them. So we see a glass puck that we use every day and we're like, okay, how can we make glass puck better? Okay, but consider this. What if it's not the glass puck? Like,
do you have any information on like and maybe you can't even say you do, but do you have any information on other wearables that Apple might be working on internally?
So should I say this publicly?
Okay.
How many people are watching?
420 something.
Okay, here we go. So next month, I'm working on a story right now.
Okay.
I've been working on this AirPower thing. I'm also working on another story that I hope to publish next month of the AR glasses. Like,
okay,
how do I put this? So there are prototypes that are worked on in Apple. And if those prototypes leak, it's easy to track the source. But when there's a new prototype made, the current prototypes go into what's called obsolete. And when a product is obsolete, when a prototype is obsolete, it's meant to be destroyed internally. Some sources don't destroy what's supposed to be obsolete. Yeah. And there are some AR glasses prototypes that are supposed to be obsolete next month. And I'm working on getting a video of it actually working. Like, we're trying to get it filmed in a location where Apple wouldn't be able to identify the location. The product has to be marked obsolete, so it's not on their system anymore. And then I'll be able to give you guys the very first look at the prototype AR glasses and footage of it working.
Greg just got aroused.
Yeah. What I can, I'll give you some information here. You know how the UI on the iPhone is called the Springboard?
Yeah.
The UI on the AR glasses is called Starboard. So it's similar. UI that you would sort of expect with iOS, but an AR version for the glasses, and it's called Starboard. There you go.
Interesting.
GadgetCast exclusive.
Hey, we got the question right there.
Yeah. So how does it feel to have Everything Apple Pro talking about you as leaker? Now, Everything Apple Pro, if you're not familiar, is a huge Apple YouTube channel. He's been around for a very long time. Apparently, he doesn't live but only a couple hours from me. So Everything Apple Pro, if you're watching this, I'd be happy to come on down and collab with you. But how does it feel to see like these really huge, well-established creators mentioning you in their videos? I actually saw the video, one of the videos that Apple Pro was talking about you and stuff. Does that matter to you at all, or do you like that?
It was cool. It falls in the same category as like the websites writing about me. I was never a huge, to be honest, I was never a huge Everything Apple Pro fan. I didn't watch him much. Now I watch every video he puts out just because like somebody had tweeted me saying that he mentioned me in a video. And so I watched that video. I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like this. So that's when I started watching everything Apple Pro. To be honest, you know how there's like some actors that can't watch themselves back?
Yeah.
I have that same issue where I cringe. Like I can't watch when you guys watch Front Page Tech, you usually see it before I do. I don't watch it before it goes out, and I typically don't watch it at all. I can't watch myself. Cannot do it. And it's the same way with like watching somebody else talk about me. I can't. Like I just can't do it. I cringe, and I'm just like I'm out of here. I can't. So yeah, I have that issue where I can't watch myself back. I usually can't watch a lot of people talk about me. So yeah, I'm weird.
Quick question: what's the best bear?
A polar bear.
I think you're right about that.
That's me, by the way. I cannot watch my stuff.
You edit your stuff though, don't you?
I do. Yes, I edit my stuff.
I don't even I don't look.
I wish I had the privilege of not editing my stuff, because when I'm done with it, I'm like, I don't want to put this out there. But
after you sat there for hours editing yourself, listening to yourself say the same shit over and over again, you're just like, ugh, I don't want to put this out.
Yeah, it's
no one will see this.
I've seen this question a bunch of times. Any more information about the over-ear headphones?
WWDC, $350.
Do you believe the iPhone 12 models will remain at the same price due to the coronavirus? Any updates on Pixel 5 as well?
No updates on Pixel 5. I don't know anything about that. And I would expect iPhone 12 models to stay the same. And if anything happens to the price, it won't be because of coronavirus. It'll be because of 5G. But I know the goal is prices aren't solidified now. Their prototyping is just getting done, so they don't know. That goes into marketing and stuff like that. But if anything happens to the price, it would be because of 5G, not so much because of coronavirus.
All right. Realistically, do you think it's impossible for the iPhone 12, 12 Pro to come out on the usual schedule? Also, Apple Series Watch 6. Is that a thing?
So yeah, the Series 6 is a thing. I know. See,
you know so much.
This has been one of the hardest things because there are some very, very cool, significant Apple Watch features being worked on. You know how people are like, they put so much in the Apple Watch so quickly. What could they possibly do to make it better next year?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's going to be so good. It's like, what can I say? If I say this is one of those things where I'm afraid to say because it'll give away a source. Okay, I won't give high details away. I'll give away just an overarching thing. For the next Watch OS, and what I would assume would be hardware within Series 6, they're working on some really meaningful, incredible mental health features.
Interesting.
Like absolutely incredible features that would be life-changing for people. And I assume you'll be hearing about that in leaks. Probably not from me. So there's some stuff that I've tried not to say and that are given to other people to say. And I think everything Apple Pro will be talking about that in a future video. I just can't be the one to give out like really high level details. But there's panic attack stuff and mental health stuff that is going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about people just being able to learn about it and hear about it for the first time. I mean, I guess technically this is your first time hearing about it.
Yeah, I've never heard anything about this. So
it's going to be, it's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's not so much about the feature and the specs, it's how they implement. Like the hardware on Series 6, the blood oxygen thing. Okay, so that's just a piece of hardware, but they're implementing that to make mental health features available. And that's meaningful and fascinating to me. Like that's amazing, and that's the stuff we should be focusing on, not the specs or the price or anything like that. That's the stuff that matters more. It's not the feature or the idea, it's how it's implemented and how it can change your life. And I think that will be very meaningful for a lot of people. Like there's a portion where if you're driving and you're under a lot of stress and panicking, it can warn you ahead of time by judging blood oxygen levels and heart rate, putting that data together and ask you to pull over and try to help you with breathing exercise and stuff like that. It's incredible. And I can't wait for people to learn more about that.
Wow. They started doing that stuff with the, the heart attack stuff. Like they really seem to be trying to move the needle in a very significant way, which I can definitely appreciate. But this is a great question because it just goes into what you were just talking about. Are you worried? Are you not worried about giving away too much information? I think you've kind of answered that somewhat.
Yeah, I am worried about it. I'm very selective with what I put out for the most part. And there's like, I'm worried about a lot of stuff. I'm worried about giving too much information. I'm worried about not giving enough information. I'm worried about being questioned because I didn't give enough information. Like when I say stuff like there's going to be features coming to the Apple Watch, that is a clip that people can take and be like, look, he's just saying obvious stuff and being cryptic because he doesn't know the answer. When in reality, I'm afraid to give the answer because it could give away people that work in that division.
Right.
What's Greg laughing about?
I really, after that heartfelt thing about the Series 6, mental health, how it's not about the specs. I like Flash 363's question where he says, will the iPhone 12 have a huge notch?
Very important question.
God, you guys are the worst.
By the way, I have a question about this. I've seen like when you tweeted, people were talking to Jeff Poo. What is Jeff? Who is Jeff Poo?
So that got taken. I made a joke in the show and it got absolutely eviscerated by the media. So Jeff Poo, a guy named Jeff Poo, on Friday or who cares about the fucking day? On some day, he told Mac Rumors some information and they reported on it. Would you like to hear the headline?
Yes.
Go ahead.
According to Apple analyst, iPhone SE expected mid-April next week, and iPhone 12 delayed till October. You want to say who it was in that article?
Sounds so familiar, Jerzo. I mean, it sounds like something you have said for
last month. I said it last month, but Jeff Poo said it on Friday, and they reported on it. And so I was like, did they? No, they didn't finally put. Are they reporting on my information now that they see that 9 to 5 Mac was a little bit off, so now they're sort of adjusting their dates. I read the article, not Jern, not in there. It's Jeff Poo. Apple analyst Jeff Poo said so. And so no disrespect to Jeff Poo, whatever, it's fine. I just made a joke on my show. I was like, has it gotten this bad that the media won't quote me, but they'll quote a guy named Poo because Poo said? And the author of the article, part of Mac Rumors, put out a tweet saying that it was wildly inappropriate that I said he quoted me, was like, has it gotten this bad that the media doesn't quote me, but they'll report on a guy named Pooh? So I replied to the tweet. It's so exhausting putting up with this shit. I replied to the tweet and was like in my head, I was like, okay, is he upset that I mocked the guy's name because it sounds like Pooh? This is a real guy, and I mocked his name.
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, you laugh once in a while." Joe wrote the article, and I was like, "Joe, will you laugh?" He's been picking apart my shit for like 2 weeks. I was like, "Do you laugh ever at anything?" And then so again, my first instinct is, okay, I mocked the guy's name, I guess, and so. Stop turning off. And so maybe he's upset about that. But then he replied again, quoting Ray Wong or something. I guess John Gruber put out an article where it said, you're holding it Wong. So he played off of the Asian last name.
Yeah, I remember that.
So Joe was... the angle he was taking was, I'm racist.
Oh Lord!
Because I made fun of, Jeff Poo.
First of all, I don't know what nationality Jeff Poo is.
Exactly. For all I know, Jeff Poo is an Indian man. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Who cares?
White, yellow. Come on, bro.
The media often will call me Jon Prosser because it's a play on. It's a play on words. Are they racist? Is it because I'm white? Like what? What are you talking about? Yeah. And so they took the angle of Jon Prosser as a racist. And I was like, okay, are we at this point now? Cancel John? Is that happening because I'm racist now? Like, I don't even know what Jeff Poo looks like. I was like, words. I replied to Joe and I was like, dude, words are just noises. His last name sounds like another noise. That's it. It was just a play on words. I didn't even change. Like the John Gruber thing was a little iffy because he actually changed instead of wrong, he said Wong.
Yeah.
So it was It was a little more than play on words.
100%.
This is literally, I didn't change the word. His name is literally Jeff Poo. It just so happens that P-U also sounds like the word P-O-O. That's it.
And even more funny, it's the Toilet Squad. Like, it all makes sense in the
just like
PT.
It's exhausting. I put out a show. You know, I've been making this show for 8 years, and just now the media's like, "Ooh,
yeah, I know, right?
Did you hear that? Racist Jon Prosser strikes again. Come on, guys."
You're at this level where everything you do is kind of looked at, which is crazy. I don't think I ever want to get to that point. Are we expecting another iPad Pro later in the year? You've talked about this on Twitter before.
Yeah. So there is. From what I know, the iPads that we just got should have come out last year. So
well, that makes more sense.
Yeah, the issue was Rona.
Yeah.
So the iPads actually got finished manufacturing in January. So they've just been sitting there. They were ready to go out. Another good guess by Jon Prosser, iPads ready to ship. In reality, they were done in January and just sort of chilling. And they were obviously supposed to be scheduled for the March event, and then Rona also affected that. And I know a lot of people are like, they're weirded out by Apple or any company releasing products right now, but like, do you know when this is going to get better?
Right.
No.
Exactly. Sure.
And are these companies supposed to just sit on, like, okay, are they just supposed to write off after the manufacturing is done?
No, yeah.
Okay, talk about iPhone SE. Do you know how many phones they made? Do you want them to just be like, oh shit, Rona? I guess just throw those away. You know how much of a loss that so many people worked on this for the last few years, and it would just be crazy to just throw it all away. And they don't know when. I guess they could hold it off if they knew when this was going to get better, but we don't have a timeline for that, and you can't hold it forever. And they know that, you know, they're not going to sell a ton of these things, but selling some is still better than selling none, because that's the alternative. If they don't release it, they sell none. And so companies still got to do company stuff and put out products, even if they're reluctant to do it. It's just, they're still responsible for that stuff.
Will there be an episode of FPT tomorrow?
Maybe, we'll see.
Greg, you got one from yourself. Like, give a good question.
Way to just toss it to me. And
I wanted to give you an opportunity before you fell asleep.
What?
You're like, I can see you over there. Like,
I was enjoying the lightning round. I was looking for questions in the chat to highlight.
Yeah, that is very difficult.
now you do that. We got people asking about 16-inch MacBook Pros when it's coming out. I'm like, it just came out.
So there's some ARM books for WWDC. Like, people were like upset with me because I was, because I first said MacBook Pro, WWDC, and then I said another one for May. And people were like, which one is it? It's both, people. There's one planned for May that should have come out earlier, should have come out this month. But then there's more significant stuff scheduled for WWDC. I'm not promising this stuff. I'm just telling you the information that I have and what I've been told. The stuff that was, we're going to see a lot of this year, like just scattered releases. And because, you know, what would have dropped after a March event where there's like, you know, a handful of products, they are now, instead of overloading us, you know, being like, buy the iPad Pro, the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, instead of dropping all this stuff in one day, they're just sort of scattering it to try to make it easier. They still have to get the products out, but they still have to be sort of like understanding what's the economy right now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, real quick, I wanted to put a little shout out here for GravX Reviews. If you got to watch my video about why to not buy the iPhone, why Apple should cancel the iPhone 12, it was kind of a, I don't want to say it's clickbait, but it was more about the larger message at what's going on. And actually, the picture at the end that I put at the very end of the video is of GravX, so it's nice to see him in the chat. Welcome back. He actually had coronavirus, so it's good to see him in the chat. So yeah, if you watch that video at the very end,
great to see him in the chat.
Yeah, you'll see a picture of him in the end of that video. Yeah. Okay. Any leaks about an iPad Mini? That's a really cool question.
I haven't heard anything about iPad Mini.
Let's see.
Of course, I haven't asked. So there's stuff that, like, when you guys ask questions, I can go to my sources about. There's stuff that I haven't asked, and there's stuff that I haven't heard about yet. So I could ask about iPad Mini, but right now, to be transparent, I haven't heard anything about it.
So how about a new iMac? Because we saw that CoinX tweet.
I think CoinX got the iMac confused for the MacBook. That's what I think happened. I think it got lost in translation or he got it confused because I haven't heard anything. Like, I mean, I know there's a slight iMac redesign, but I don't know the timeline for it.
Okay, well, that's redesign is the interesting word because there's information about that. So,
have you heard anything new about HomePods? Feels like Apple has ditched the product line.
No, there's a HomePod Mini.
Do we know about this? Greg, do you know about this?
Yeah, there's been rumors and talks about it.
Yeah,
John's saying it. I'm okay.
Yeah,
good enough for me.
Okay, I just had not heard anything about that. Okay, cool.
If I send you a picture, are you able to put it on screen?
Yeah, somehow we can do that. Yes. If you DM it to me, it'll be easier. And then
I haven't tweeted this yet, but this is I'm actually working on like creating my own mock-ups for stuff. I'm sending you a mock-up of the C68 prototype. Like, obviously, I tweeted the like fuzzy image of it, which is funny how that happened. So
this is the other thing. This is okay. Hold on. So this is
the AirPower thing. So I'm just as stubborn, and I wanted to give people. I didn't want to just give people an update and information about this thing. I wanted to be able to provide the first picture. So that's what we did. The picture, we didn't want the source to take it from his iPhone.
Yeah, of course.
We didn't want it to be logged or anything like that. So what we did was we had that person FaceTime another person who took a screenshot. That's how that happened.
Wow.
That's why it looks that way.
That's awesome.
But so I wanted to create like a concept image based off of that, so you could see in the leaked image, you can see the charging cables on the right, where in the original AirPower it was at the top center. I don't know if that will be. I don't know if it'll ship. I'm going to give new information about this right now that I haven't said yet. So I don't know if the retail versions of this, if and when it comes out, will have the cord on top. I would assume that it won't stay on the right side like that. I think that's just the current prototype. The coils inside there's fewer of them and there's less overlap and they're a little bit larger. So it's supposed to work the same. A11 chip inside of it to manage the heat and reroute it, specifically for Apple Watch because they sort of screwed themselves by making it proprietary. So the A11 can actually, people wonder why the A11 or if it's overkill. It's a little overkill, but I think 2 of the cores are turned off, and the way it's just there for basic rerouting of heat. It was the first SoC that could actually dynamically manage heat, meaning that when an area of the mat is too hot, it can either isolate the heat or remove it while keeping the other stuff charged. So the issue with AirPower originally, I have a screenshot. I could probably send you guys. I can't ever show it publicly. It's a screenshot of a video of AirPower combusting. I'll send it to you guys right now.
I kind of need to see that.
Yeah,
I need to see that personally.
So the prototype.
This one here.
What we're looking at here, I had a tweet planned. I'm going to tweet later this week, but I'll say it here first. Here's what we're looking at.
Where are your drafts? That way you can.
Yeah, I'm looking at a draft right now, actually. So, C68 not officially internally being called AirPower, but I mean, come on, it looks just like it. Lightning cable on the right side will probably change. This does have an expected launch date, so I'm not saying or guaranteeing that this is going to come out, because obviously it didn't come out the first time, even when they officially announced it. But if we see this thing, it'll be Q4 of 2020 or Q1 of 2021, and the price point's $250.
Oh.
Yeah,
that Apple tax, baby.
Oh man, that's quite the Apple tax. There you go. All that extra engineering, you know.
I mean, I get that. Yeah, the extra engineering.
It's the only charging mat of its kind. It has an A11 chip in it, which I think still to this day costs Apple like $15 or $20 to put in.
That's actually
good. So and it's literally just because they're stubborn, just because they can't just make a regular goddamn mat. They got to do this.
Right. Well, how else are you going to charge $500? Okay, sorry, I was thinking of 500 viewers, which we are closing in on 473.
There's no way, right?
Yeah, 473.
No.
Okay. Question for Jern. Can you tell me or a fan base more detail about the iPhone 9, your prediction about April 15th? I got a feeling something can come out Monday now. Well, it's not Monday yet, but it will be. So more details about the iPhone 9. I don't know what
Josh has a feeling that it might come out Wednesday, so I believe that for sure. I'm on Josh's feeling, Whatever John reported, I'm not for it.
Every day after I've been like,
I have a feeling. You heard it here first, folks.
There have been people every day, and it's so hard. I try not to pick on them because they're just regular people that are just like, making guesses.
I know.
But every day I have, I put out like, hey Siri, was I wrong today? And stuff like, God, I wasn't actually talking to you, you asshole. Siri just popped up on all my devices. Every day people am like, it's coming out tomorrow. I think it's coming out tomorrow. Like, guys, what do you mean you think? Like, this happened before when I had the dates. Travis was part of this thread on Twitter. I had the dates for the Galaxy S20, and some guy was like, I think it's going to be $150 less. It's like, what do you mean you think? I know the dates, or I know the prices, and I told you. No, I think less. Okay, think less, I guess.
Yeah, that's it's been, you just don't go against Jernzo. He's not even putting out like questions, like he's
sending you a screenshot. What you're seeing, I'm going to send it to Greg too. What you're seeing is AirPower plugged into a MacBook outside.
What?
So they
I'm not going to show that on the screen, but
yeah, I cannot show this publicly.
I would love this to be like my desktop background. It's beautiful.
It's another one of those things where, like, I said on the show, I've personally seen a video of this happening. It was like, it was insecure stuff. So it was a self-destructing video. So all I got was a screenshot, and people can doubt me all they want, because I'll never be able to show that publicly, but I can send it to you guys. It's AirPower plugged into a MacBook.
That is AirPower plugged into a MacBook.
And they were afraid of it exploding, so they did it outside.
Did they do it on purpose? Did they just was this a test, or were they trying to make it blow up?
No, that was a test. That was a test.
It's a shame people won't ever be able to see that.
Yeah. So what they do is, within the MacBook, they're able to simulate like similar energy that would happen. Instead of actually putting like an Apple Watch on it, they can like run simulations to see how much energy it can handle. It didn't handle it well.
My gosh.
Yeah, the MacBook is ruined. AirPower is ruined. It's like, oh man.
Oh my God. Another couple questions. We're way over our normal time, but this has been a great podcast. We're going to keep going. Is your name John or Jern?
John. But my best friend from high school, Brian, who's also the co-owner from Pitch Tech, edits every episode you see. Since high school, I think he's called me Jern, and I've called him Burn. So it's just sort of, for like half of my life, we've been calling each other Jern and Burn.
Jern and Burn. Well, then iPhone 9 have wireless charging.
I think it should, along with like what you expected with the iPhone 8.
Let's see. Let's find one or two more, because we do need to wrap this up. We will do a real quick post show like we do every time here. First of all, let's do a little promotion here with 450 people watching. If you're watching, this is the GadgetCast, baby. We're here every Sunday. We do a audio podcast, which is available on all of the podcast platforms.
Can I give a personal endorsement?
You should absolutely give it.
This is the only tech podcast that I listen to and watch every week. The only one.
This is true. The reason that
I would suggest you subscribe.
The literal reason Jern is here is because he's always in the chat. He's literally here every week. So
this is the only one I listen to every week. Yeah. It's like, I always use the analogy of like, if you like, you work at a restaurant every day and you drink Pepsi all the time, you're not going to go home and drink more Pepsi. So it's like, I report and work on tech stuff all the time. So my free time, I don't like to actually watch and consume tech content. I like other stuff. But this is the one show every single week that I tune in for. So if you don't subscribe, I will take it personally.
That's amazing. We appreciate you, Jern.
Yeah.
Hey, our good friend Jeff has a great question about the iPhone 9. Headphone jack, baby. Is there a headphone jack?
No, not that I know of. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to be very disappointed if everyone watching this doesn't subscribe right now. I'm going to take it personally.
Literally, we'd be close to monetization if everyone subscribed in one day.
That was the one. That was when I tuned in. That was the only chat I saw at first. Someone asked, "No super chats." There can be.
There can be if y'all.
It's up to you. listen, if you all sub and get us to like 1,000, we could have super chats, and then the next time we have John on, all your questions, you'll be able to super chat them. We can't ignore
right.
them. You'll know if the iPhone 12 has a big notch on it. It's very important to know that. So
That's right.
I would also suggest subscribing to the two of you.
Yes, that would be smart.
Nah, that's
Not
Greg.
Not Greg.
Not Greg.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean Greg.
You can,
By the way, y'all should know if you stick around here, we have a lot of fun. One of the things we talk about is cancel Greg. So that's something that I need more.
Literally subscribe to anybody else named Greg, except for
we have so much fun here. Jernzo, man, you got to come back like 27 more times.
Okay,
we love you.
Hey, make me like third wheel, the third co-host.
Listen, if you can actually come every week, we would love to have you. Why would we not have you every week?
I'll tweet it every week.
Good googly goo. That would be amazing.
I did not expect that to happen. So
I didn't know what to expect. What did you expect there, Grego?
No, I know John has a very loyal
Grego.
Grego. I know he has a very loyal fan base, and I know he delivers, which is very important. So
yeah, I'm just like, I wanted to take an opportunity because I feel like it's lost in translation a lot. I feel like it's lost in the character a lot, that I'm a human too.
Yes.
I'm aware of that, just like everybody else. Like, everyone wants me to fail. And that's cool. I have just as many self-doubts. For as much as you doubt me or question me, like, you can't beat me up as much as I beat myself up. Like, I'm every day, every night, like, I have a lot of self-doubts. I trust my sources, but I'm still scared of reporting the wrong information. I'm still scared of as much as I don't want to admit it, I do worry about what people think about me. Especially from people I respect. Like, I really respect a lot of the media and people that, like Joe from Mac Rumors, and Zach from 9 to 5 Mac, and Mark Gurman. These are people that, I have reported on their stories for years, and I respect them a lot. And I worry about what they think of me. I worry about them not respecting me. I have a lot of self-doubts, but at the end of the day, like, my loyalties lie with my audience and to what I promised to create. Like, I promised to create a fun experience, a fun show, and that's my first priority. Is just like, I want you to be able to say that you spent 10 minutes with me, you forgot about whatever stress you were under, and you laughed. That's my first priority. Yeah. Then the information is second, and I know that I could probably do a lot of things differently. But then what am I? I'm just like everybody else. Like, all the news that you read and stuff, you can get it in bite size. You can get it in a tweet or in a headline. I don't want to be the tweet or a headline. I want to be more than that. And so I think a lot of people want me to fit into their box and their idea of how they want to consume stuff or how they're used to consuming stuff. And I didn't build my career off of that. And so, yeah, my first priority, even if it's misunderstood, is making people laugh. And that's all I care about. And so I want to take an opportunity like this, where I don't think many leakers haven't just go on and do an open platform and say, ask me anything. Because I want to be transparent with you, and I want to be able to tell you the information I have. And if I don't have it, I also want to be honest about that. So that's why I'm here.
Someone said to check Signal.
Who?
Oh, geez. Oh, man. We are definitely. So in case you don't know, go ahead and subscribe. If you're probably here from Front Page Tech, but go ahead. If you're not, if you're one of the GadgetCast squad and you've never been a part of the Front Page Tech squad, you need to be a part of that. There's a link there. Links for Greg's channel and my channel and all of our social medias are in the description, as well as, of course, if you're listening to the audio podcast, in the show notes. We're definitely going to do this again. You're welcome. Literally anytime you want. 100%. Anytime you
want, guys. I'll be on. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. So we're going to do the post show like we like to do for our live stream peoples. So if you're here on the live stream, you get a little extra. If you're on the audio stream and you're like, darn, this was so good that I wish I could have been a part of the audio stream, you can go to youtube.com/GadgetCast.
Just think about how late you were hearing all this breaking news because you had to listen on the Monday or the Tuesday. Yeah. You weren't here. Come on.
Could have known 24 hours.
Had the late breaking Apple news.
Because we released this the next day. So one more thing I want to mention, over 100 new subscribers during this live stream. That's amazing. That's incredible. Thank you so much to everyone who subscribed to the GadgetCast. We will make sure that you have not made a terrible mistake. Anyway,
people are crazy.
For now, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye, at least on the audio portion of the live stream or of the GadgetCast. We'll talk to you again next week. Thank you so much. He's Greg. I'm Travis. And the other guy's Jern. We'll see you next week.
Jern.
Recording is over. Everyone gets naked.
Oh yeah, that's the after show for everyone here is new to GadgetCast. Post show we kind of take off our shirts, get a little bit comfortable. Jordan, you go first.
Yeah, I'll show a nip.
You're the guest. We're gonna be kind to you.
There used to be a rule on the Front Page Tech live streams where if we hit every time we hit 1,000 live viewers, I showed a nipple.
I remember that.
Nipple. Yeah,
I remember that.
In true GadgetCast tradition, when you tell people there's going to be a post show, you see 60 people just drop off. Understand that we're still going to be on. I don't know what the value is that the official show is over, and now you move over to you think maybe like, oh, I'll just stick around for like the last bit. It's still happening.
Yeah,
it's a real thing. People
love just think it's people like, oh, it's over. I hear music. Okay, bye.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Now we're gonna ask like the real hard hitting question.
Right.
And
what your favorite position, son?
Jern after dark.
Oh my God! Do you ever do the stranger where you sleep on your arm and then never, we don't get together. You sleep on Twitch. GadgetCast is not, although that's really a great idea. I don't know why we're not. We need to get a GadgetCast Twitch stream.
I like all the new people seeing the hashtag cancel Greg, and then I just saw someone go hashtag let Greg speak.
That's
the one vocal person.
Yeah,
no, I actually, but for real, I like Greg.
we love the cancel Greg culture here on
yeah.
We'll answer a couple more questions. Any news about the iPad Pro? Yeah, we were talking about this briefly, but that's all right? That it's the 14X and
5G and 14X to handle the 5G, and that's it. From what I know, there's like what are micro and mini LED stuff that they're working on, but that's like from what I've heard, that's next year for like a full refresh. This is just like a one-off like 5G iPad.
What does it say? I'm curious about your sources. What do they gain by giving stuff? That's actually a really good question.
They're just fans like everybody else. Like they love hearing about the information and hearing about leaks just like you do, and it's just a bonus that they get to be the person that gives it. Yes,
this is true. When I used to work at a large corporation, I wanted to leak stuff. I knew stuff well in advance. When you reach 500,000 subs, which will be in 2 or 3 months. Will you squeeze lemon juice into your eye again? Don't do that, please.
When was that? It was it
was a live stream, wasn't it?
A few hundred episodes ago, yeah.
But now you have currently information on this, but have you heard about the possibility of Xcode coming to iPad now? I don't know what that is.
I will tell you. Hang on, I can show you.
Ooh.
What is Xcode, Greg?
That's all the stuff that iOS and all your apps are made from.
Oh,
so people are wondering about are they ever going to bring Mac applications to iPad?
Yeah, we getting Final Cut on iPad. How about that?
That's what I want. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna offer
you. Show me Final Cut on iPad. Show me Tim Cook's fingers scrolling through on his iPad, editing a video. He's editing those COVID update videos on them.
Can you see this?
Yeah, Xcode preview.
That's Xcode present on iOS 14.
Ooh.
Wow.
So on iOS 14 and iPadOS 14, Xcode is present. Do with that information what you will.
You have a personal favorite episode or moment from FPT, John, besides the F field, which we haven't seen in a long time?
No, I think my favorite thing that we worked on was the Steve Jobs one. Apple's better without Steve Jobs.
That's really good.
Really well done. Let's see. We got a couple more. We'll do a couple more questions before we head out. Is AirPod using Lightning or USB-C at the top?
AirPower? Oh, it's USB or not USB-C. Lightning.
Lightning?
Yeah. I think it would be that way until so there's no practical reason for it to use USB-C. Like they use USB-C on iPad Pro so you can like transfer files and so it's compatible with other stuff. AirPower just needs a cord to charge with and not explode.
How would we interact with those AR glasses?
You wear them.
I mean, is it voice command or do you side or like,
Yeah, you should be able to look at stuff.
We look at stuff. Okay.
Could you imagine wearing glasses and you just have to like touch?
I mean, you never know, right?
Yeah.
And what time should we wake up?
It's like all greasy from your fingers and
the chicken one. Hey, this is actually a good one. Will MacBook get Face ID?
Yeah.
Yay. And then what feature would you like to see on iOS 14 that isn't known? Geez, what thing? I don't know.
Well, I just showed you Xcode's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one.
Xcode being present opens a lot of possibilities.
That is really
so for them trying to throw off the rumor that they're not no, we're not mixing Mac OS and iOS. We're not gonna put Mac apps on iOS. Well, a little something says otherwise.
Yeah, once Xcode's on there, that's literally the entire floodgate of every Mac app being available on the iPad.
That's actually interesting.
Oh,
what phone do you personally use there, Jonzo?
I personally use an iPhone XS.
Oh, okay, I remember when you got that.
Yeah, I haven't I try to stick by and live my life with my words, the same words I use. And when I talk about like, it's not about specs or whatever, like I just want to use what works for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So you said maybe or maybe not for a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
What dictates that?
Huh?
What dictates that?
Feels. How I feel. I haven't looked at the news yet, and there's no like juicy exclusive stuff that I want to roll with. So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been trying to like put out episodes that matter more, if that makes sense. Like less just because we got to do an episode. Now they've been just packed with stuff, and it's been working out. So I want to do more of that.
Makes sense. All right, everybody. The post game is over. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in and making this a record-breaking episode. We greatly appreciate it. Of course, subscribe to everybody. Links are in the description of this. So, come see us. Greg has some great videos out. I have some really awesome videos. I don't know. I mean, I just got to say words at this point.
Right.
And we all love Jern, so make sure you give him props and love back on the Twitter tweets and everywhere else. Show that love. But we'll see you guys and gals really soon. Again, thanks to the GadgetCast squad that's been here looking at this stream like, what the hell? This is not normal. Hanging and banging when this chat just goes. We appreciate you.
It's Reddit was right, guys. I buy all my followers, and then I also buy live viewers. Everyone can expect your dollar in the mail. Thank you for tuning in.
You got the TechSmart deal where you got all the Apple TVs hooked up.
Yeah.
Ready to go,
that's where all the prototypes are going.
Yeah,
They're just in a room sitting there. It's a click farm.
Oh man.
All right, guys and girls. We'll see you again real soon. Peace and love. Peace and love.